going to show you my best tips to getting the Silver Apocalypse trophy in Phasmophobia. Let's start by going over some of the settings here that you're going to use. These are going to be my recommendations. Obviously, these settings, all you need to do is get a 10 times multiplier. That is it. So whatever directions you want to do, or difficulties or settings to get that 10 times, that's all that you have to do. So let's look at these. Player pretty much set just to this. It's 0 sanity, 0 sanity pill, 200% sanity drain, doesn't matter. Sprinting, I definitely recommend you have it on. You can choose to have it off. You can do other multipliers, but just get the sprinting if you can. Flashlights on, and you can have that off if you want. It's really up to you. These are pretty basic. What's going to really kind of change is what do you want done with the ghost. Ghost speed is going to be 100%. You can set it higher if you want. It's not necessary. Roaming frequency, I'm going to set to high. Change favorite room is really kind of up to you, right? If you have it set to none, it's going to be really hard to figure out a Goryo. You're kind of basing it on the roaming. But changing favorite room to none makes it a bit easier for all the other ghosts. So do you want to do it to try to confirm Goryo, or do you make it easier to kind of figure out all the other ones? That's really up to you. I do a little bit of both with some of these games. It's like a 0.10 multiplier difference. So if you have changed favorite rooms to none, set a motion sensor outside of the room to see does the ghost roam out a lot, because Goryos can only do small roams, not long. So roaming frequency set to high, it's not going to roam very far. I've noticed Goryos don't tend to roam out a lot at all. Take that for what you will. I definitely recommend event frequency. You set it to high. Grace period is 0. That's going to be huge. Hunt duration, I set it to medium. 50-second hunts. Just nicer to not have to wait as long in hunts for the hunt to be over and do whatever. Evidence is obviously going to be 0. This is what I find to be easiest. Contract itself, have the heavy rain, door starting open high, no hiding spaces, sanity monitors off, activity monitors off, and I set fuse box to on and visible on map on. Again, you can have activity monitor on if you wanted. If you wanted to change the fuse box to off at the start, it's kind of up to you if you wanted to change the weather because you didn't like heavy rain. To me, this 10 times multiplier is good enough to where you're going to be able to get the ghost and figure it out. Now let's look at what some of the objectives are, and I'm going to highly recommend that if you get witness a ghost event or prevent the ghost from hunting with the crucifix, that you just restart the map. Just leave, restart. It's going to make your life easier, I think, overall, but these are still all very doable objectives. I definitely recommend it for gold trophy, but for silver, you can still do it with the crucifix and ghost event. You can use the ghost events to get the ghost photo. It's just kind of up to you and how it is. So if you get a Diogen and you have a ghost event or a crucifix objective, it can be very annoying to get. But if you got like other ghosts and you already know what it is, if it's like a fast or a slow ghost that you can get right away, you don't have to worry about the ghost event or the crucifix objective, and you can just get what you need and leave, that's going to be the most ideal. So it's completely up to you. I recommend resetting if you get the ghost event or crucifix objective, but really, do with whatever makes you more comfortable. So now that we're ready, let's go ahead and start taking our items to the front. This is also going to be to help test for a Wraith, Banshee, Phantom, or an entryway ghost. If you do have like level 79 and the tier 3 firelights unlocked, you can go ahead and light them. We're just set up some motion sensors, EMF reader, see if you get an interaction up there. That way you're going to be more prepared. I just want to add this caveat here to this because there is like new testing and more testing being done, more information. And now it looks like only the Phantom can actually roam to you when you're outside of the house, that Wraiths will not teleport to you and Banshees will not roam to you when you're out. I have not confirmed this one way or another, so just keep in mind that we can rule out a Phantom to go in, but if it's going to be a Wraith or a Banshee, it could possibly still be it. Don't rule those out so quickly because it hasn't been confirmed one way or another what is true, so I just want to throw that out there. Now, this is where you want to absolutely time your hunts. I say this in my gold trophy challenge video a lot. I also do this with the bronze trophy. It's still useful, and this is going to be more useful here than it is for bronze. So as soon as the front door closes, start your timer. It's a 50-second timer because we did set our hunt duration to medium, and now we go about and listen. First thing you want to do is listen to the footstep speed. Is it going to be normal speed, or is it going to be faster or slower? Now, if you can't hear it right away, just go ahead and start walking and then pick a side. You're going to be safe most of the time. You're going to hear the ghost before it comes to find you. So you can start listening to things that way. If the ghost is fast, your possible options are a Moroi, Thay, Fast Twin, or a Dio that's coming and running for you, which if you do get a Dio, I do recommend you immediately go into the chapel and start looping it around there because there is more light in case you were not able to turn anything on, which most likely you did not. If the ghosts are slow, it's going to be a Revenant or a Slow Twin. Now, Hantu is either going to be faster or slower depending on what you have your breaker settings set to. So chances are if you did have it on, like I recommend, you can go ahead and say that onto will be slightly slower than usual. Raijus are one you're not going to be able to rule out yet because chances are high that you do not have an electronic near the ghost. So you do want to test for that later, which you can also do with the tier 3 paramic. I do highly recommend that you at least have a tier 3 paramic for this, as it helps make this challenge a hell of a lot easier. Now, Raijus will speed up when they're within 10 meters of an electronic, so you know that if you hear the ghost speed up around this location on the paramic, then you are dealing with a Raiju. Also, be careful because it could come closer to you. You can also check for a myling with a tier 3 paramic. By the way, did I mention how amazing this tier 3 paramic is? One of the best items in the game, if not the best. Anyway, if you see a ghost running around here, go ahead, turn off your brake or turn off the paramic, and if you cannot hear the ghost, you know that it is a myling. Let me show you an example of this. So this is going to be a myling. Yeah, if you noticed, like when the ghost was in that semicircle, we could not hear it. That's a myling. This is what I talk about when it comes to a myling, how you can't hear it when the ghost is in that semicircle on the paramic. This is going to be a regular ghost. Now, if the ghost is normal speed, you want to start beginning to move your items closer to the area of the hallway that the ghost room is. Items you want to move would include any objective items that you need, like an EMF reader or a motion sensor. I do recommend you take some firelights, at least 2 or 3, to help test for a shade or an onryo when you do get close to it. Of course, you want to take your 4 incense, your photo cam, and your 2 crucifixes. Now, if you didn't wait early to help rule out a Wraith, Banshee, or a Phantom, then make sure that you do keep in mind those could be roaming to you. Of course, if the ghost did hunt on the same floor as you, then you know you could go ahead and rule out a Banshee. If the ghost was downstairs when it started hunting, you still got to keep Banshee in mind, but you can confirm it later when you go down. Now it's just a matter of moving into a room and waiting and being methodical with the way that you test these ghosts. I'm going to recommend you listen a lot with the tier 3 paramic, which we'll go into a little bit more here in a little bit, but this is also where timing hunts is extremely important as well, because you want to try to call the ghost to you towards the end of the hunt, so that way you make most use of your smudge timers and you're safe for longer because you're not going to have like a great built-in hiding spot. So about 35 seconds into the hunt, go ahead and start calling the ghost to you. If you hear a lot of static and the ghost does not come to you, chances are high that is a yokai. If the ghost does come to you, go ahead and observe it. Are the blinks normal or are they more visible longer like an Oni? Or if you did not already rule out a Phantom, you can verify if it is a Phantom or not at this point, and you can't see the ghost that much. Also, observing it, you can start to look for the Obake shapeshift. Now I'm going to get really technical here with the Obake shapeshift because there's been a lot of testing done with it, and the community has actually found that the Obake will shapeshift at specific points during the hunt. Depending on the ghost model, you want to set a certain time range to be looking for the shapeshifts. So let me go through those shapeshifts for you. So when the hunt starts, go ahead and time it, and you want to be looking for the shapeshift around 7 to 9 seconds into the hunt, 16 to 18 seconds, 24 to 26 seconds, 34 to 36 seconds, and then 39 to 41 seconds. So you want to be observing the ghost around those time frames to look for the shapeshift. If you do not see a shapeshift there, you know that you can rule out an Obake. So obviously you want to call it towards the end of the hunt, so you want to look for those last 2 shapeshifts. I wouldn't recommend doing it early unless you get a good visual of the ghost down the hallway. Completely up to you though. When you did call it to you, chances are high, of course, you did smudge the ghost, so therefore start your smudge timer and keep in mind things for spirits cannot hunt for 3 minutes. If it hunts prior to 1.5 minutes, then of course you know that the ghost is a demon. This is also why you want to time the hunt, because you want to time the smudge towards the end of the hunt to make most use of the smudge time, as well as if you time it to the beginning of the hunt and there's 50 seconds, you only have, like for a demon, about a 40-second leeway there, maybe even less. So you want to make sure that's why you time it at the end, so there's a higher likelihood of a demon hunting early. Of course, you can also time in between hunts as well, because demons can hunt after 20 seconds after a hunt ends compared to 25 for all the other ghosts. While you did call the ghost to you as well, you could have checked for a Jinn if you were far enough away. I like to call the Jinn's ability, as well as if the breaker was on, of course, a mini revenant ability where they're going to speed up to you faster than normal line of sight compared to other ghosts, but it's not quite as fast as a rev. Here's an example of a Jinn speed up. Just like as I mentioned, you want to be listening to the paramic as much as possible. This is to listen for polties. Do you hear a lot of throws during the hunt? Be careful doing that though, as a lot of times I'll have people on my live stream say, oh, this sounds like a polty. It's not a polty, so just be careful. You also want to make sure if you could look for the force of the throws as well if it gets closer. It's another good way. You can also listen for the polty ability on the paramic. Also, through the paramic, you can listen for a Ure door slam ability, which sounds like this. On TikTok again. This is my first TikTok. And then for a mimic, you want to make sure that, does the ghost like ever change footsteps or behavior? Chances are high you're not going to be able to see a ghost orb. I wouldn't recommend wasting your time taking a video cam down there where the ghost is anyways. So you really want to be paying attention to the footstep speed during the hunt and the behavior to see does it ever change. Now, while it's kind of impossible to kind of rule out like a Ure or a demon or something like that, you're probably down to at least now Shade Mare, Goryo, or an Onryo. Again, you want to make the most out of your smudge timer here for each of these ghosts. So after you smudge the ghost, the hunt ends. You want to be bringing your firelights, your crucifixes into the ghost room. This is the test for a Shade and an Onryo. Now, if you have motion sensors to verify the ghost location, that'll be fantastic as well. Or you can just kind of use your best judgment here. Go into the ghost room, set up some firelights, keep your lighter out, keep it on, use that as another makeshift firelight, and then see, does the ghost ever hunt on top of the lit firelights there? If so, you can rule out an Onryo. Does the ghost ever blow out the firelights or do an interaction with you in the room? If so, you can rule out a Shade. Mares are really annoying. You can also use your paramic to hear if the ghost ever turns on a light switch in between hunts. It's lovely when that does happen and you can rule out a mare that way. And then if you are in the ghost room there testing for a Shade and Onryo, make sure to flip on the light switch as well to see does the ghost turn it off. Of course, if you can't find anything of that, then the ghost is likely a Goryo. Now that you've identified the ghost, or at least hopefully have, getting the ghost photo is probably going to be the most difficult thing. You should have been able to get the other objectives along the way with that. So now we wait for the ghost event to take the photo. But I want you to also think of this as well when it comes to the ghost event. If you do get a ghost event, you take the photo, go ahead and think about 3 different tests right here. And that's gonna be the test we just covered, which is the Mare, Onryo, and Shade test. After you get the photo, try to light the candlelight if you can. See if it does an interaction with you in the room, but also it's a great time to do the Mare's ability. See, the Mare will do its light switch ability when you're within 4 meters of it. So it has a chance to do its ability then. So you know when the ghost is a physical ghost form, it's gonna be fairly close to you, fairly close to the light switch, and that's gonna be your best chance at getting a Mare ability. Now, if the ghost is a Shade or something stubborn and you're not getting a nice physical ghost event, you could take a picture of the ghost during the hunt. If you want to do that, timing of the hunt is extremely important again, and I recommend you set up your inventory as incense, photocam, incense. Then around 35 seconds, call the ghost to you, smudge it, take some photos, smudge it again, take some more photos if you need to. Hunt should end. Hopefully you got your picture. You're one step closer to the silver trophy and one step closer to the gold trophy, which if you click or tap the screen now, I'll go over more advanced tactics for that. Thank you so much to all the channel members, all the Twitch subscribers, cheers, gifters. I truly appreciate you all. Happy hunting, everybody. Let's go get that gold trophy.